Hey y'all, the Paranormal Chick here. Welcome to episode 6 of my podcast. Earlier, I posted a video on my YouTube channel regarding the probable Lady Bird Lake serial killer in Austin, Texas. I want to dig a little deeper regarding the whole situation. Just kind of talk about it a little bit more. So, the first body was pulled from the lake on July 14th, 2022. There's been a total of 10 bodies that have been pulled from the lake, and out of those 10, 5 are not under investigation, and they're ruled as no foul play and as accidental drownings. Austin police have shot down public rumors of a serial killer according to multiple reports. Officials told KXAN that the evidence does not support a serial killer threat and that there are no strong connections to the deaths. So let's talk autopsies. So far, there's one autopsy that is available, and it's from Jason John. The Travis County Medical Examiner Office provided the following. According to the reports, this 30-year-old man was witnessed by a transient bystander to be vomiting by the bank of Lady Bird Lake and then subsequently fell and submerged into the water in the early morning of February 5th, 2023. After attempting to aid, the bystander went to a nearby hotel and contacted 911. The report said John had no significant internal or external injuries and that there were no fractures or traumatic injuries found. John's toxicology report showed alcohol was in his system, but no illegal drugs were detected. His cause of death was drowning and ruled accidental. So, with John's case, that there was somebody there. That we can kind of see. Okay, maybe not. That was truly an accident, right? But let's keep going. There is an autopsy pending for Jonathan Honey that hasn't been made public yet. And according to APD's Chief Joseph Chacon, he was quoted stating that the drownings are tragic, but nothing out of the ordinary. Through this all, Jason John's mother disagrees. She recently told Newsweek that he didn't swim or go near the water and suggested that he may have been drugged on the night out in nearby Rainy Street. Rainy Street is a high-traffic area of bars and restaurants. The Lady Bird Lake deaths have drawn lots of attention online and, of course, on all social media platforms. They're urging the APD to reconsider the cases, and even a retired New York City detective recently told Newsweek that the reason why most police cannot conclusively say that there is no evidence of foul play is because most police know very little about drownings. He went on to further say, most of the victims' bodies' lungs weight were under 1,000 GMS, which is inconsistent with the normal drowning. They do not recognize the amount of decomposition on the body along with the lack of skin slippage, which is inconsistent with the amount of time that the victim was missing. Another sign that makes these deaths very suspicious. Gannon reiterated that while there were no indication that Austin Police Department has poorly conducted its investigation, police and medical examiners' honest mistakes can result in authorities overlooking all possibilities. I'm going to read you the official full statement from APD. The Austin Police Department is aware of speculations regarding the recent drownings in Lady Bird Lake. Although these cases are still under investigation and evidence is being analyzed at this time, there's no evidence in any of those cases to support allegations of foul play. While each incident has occurred at the lake, the circumstances, exact locations, and demographics surrounding these cases vary. Our investigators approach every case with an open mind and objectively examine all the available evidence. We work closely with Travis County Medical Examiner's Office, which conducts a parallel investigation into all deaths. The medical examiner performs autopsies in each of these types of death investigations. The results of these autopsies have not revealed any trauma to the bodies nor indication of foul play. One common theme of the drownings in Austin this year is the combination of alcohol and easy access to Lady Bird Lake, which has numerous access points. Many of the access points can be challenging to see at night. The parks in which most of the drownings have occurred are park areas that close at 10 p.m. and occur after the park closes. We advise the public to follow the rules on park closures. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like a whole load of crap. It's an easy, all these victims, all these 10 men drowned. That's it. Case closed. Let's not waste, public money on further investigation when it's clearly drownings. That's my opinion. Let's talk a little bit about the victims. The 10 victims of Lady Bird Lake are Moga Dagali. His body was most recently recovered on June 27, 2023, and per the APD, his death is not being investigated as a homicide. Christopher Hayes Clark. His body was recovered April 15, 2023. Per the APD, no foul play or suspicious circumstances are involved. He leaves behind a 12-year-old son, and his son's mother gave the following quote: "He was a bright light in my life and in my son's life and in my family's life, and I just want to know what happened, and I just want the world to know he didn't deserve this." Jonathan Honey. His body was recovered April 1st, 2023, and per APD, it is still under investigation. He was found on April 1st, a day after he was last seen at a food truck on Rainey Street. Jonathan was in town for a bachelor trip and went missing on March 31st. Clifton Axtell. His body was recovered on March 5th, 2023. Per APD, not suspicious at this time. This is from his obituary. He was a beautiful, bright ball of energy. He was a son, brother, husband, father, nephew, uncle, and grandson. Cliff loved his family deeply. He is survived by his wife, Megan Axtell, and he leaves behind 2 children. Jason John, his body was recovered February 13th, 2023. Per APD, accidental drowning. He is survived by his girlfriend Tara, as well as his parents and brothers. Jason's body was found 8 days after he went missing, according to CBS Austin. He was last seen leaving Rainey Street, walking towards Ann and Roy Butler Hike and Bike Trail around Lady Bird Lake in an area that's notoriously dark. The following 2 victims are both classified as unidentified persons. The first unidentified person was found December 28, 2022. They were near the Congress Ave Bridge. No preliminary findings have been reported. The second victim, unidentified victim, was found on December 25, 2022, near the pedestrian bridge. Again, no preliminary findings have been reported. The next victim, Jose Moreno, was pulled from the lake on December 19, 2022. His cause of death is classified as a shooting death, as he was shot while driving and he landed in the lake. His murderer has since been caught. I do not believe that he is a part of the potential serial killer victims. The next 2 victims are also classified as unidentified persons. Unidentified person 1 was found on December 10th, 2022, near South Pleasant Valley Road and South Lakeshore Boulevard. No preliminary findings have been reported. Unidentified person, the second one, was found on July 14th 2022, near 9th East Ave. Although the next two victims are outside of the year time frame, it is important to note that they could be the first victims, the trial victims, the testers. Martin Guiterres, his body was pulled from the lake in 2018. The medical examiner's office determined he died by accidental drowning. His autopsy reported there was a bruise on the lower part of his head, but no skull fracture or brain injuries, and swelling in his brain and chest cavities. The report also stated that he had his ID and bank cards on him when he was found. The ME's office reported that they found alcohol in his blood, but no prescription drugs. Martin's brother Mitchell Guiterres stated, "I do not think it was an accident." Finally, Julio Santos. Julio went missing on June 3, 2015. He was a 22-year-old University of North Texas student and Kyle native. He was last seen on 6th Street and was said to have been chatting with his friends all night about his upcoming internship with Nordstrom. 2 days later, Sunday morning, his body was found floating in Lady Bird Lake. Per APD, there was no suspicious trauma and added Julio's snakeskin wristlet turned up behind the bar at a bar, still containing loose cash and his ID. He was last seen at a food truck. So what do we know? What's the connection? Because that's the biggest thing, right? When trying to identify serial killers, what's the connection? Why are they going after these people? Well, what we do know is that they are all male. They were all purported to be in or around the same bar restaurant district, and they all ended up in Lady Bird Lake. It is fair to note that their age differences vary, as well as their race. So if there's another connection, it's something that the police department has kept from the public. We don't know. Maybe they don't even know. So in reality, still a lot of questions. Nobody truly knows if there is an active serial killer at Lady Bird Lake, or if it's truly coincidences that all 12 of these victims accidentally drowned from a night out drinking. But what about what the locals are stating? What about the people around in that area at the bars that are stating that there's a date rape drug going around affecting, and only men are being targeted with this date rape drug? That's not in the papers. Nobody refuses to talk. People are refusing to talk about that. But that's what's being said locally. So is there a date rape drug? What I do know is that autopsies will not be done on all of the victims. And the reason being is if their death is classified as accidental, no foul play, then there's no need to spend the money doing an autopsy. The only time that the APD or any police department will complete or request an autopsy if they have suspicion of foul play or if it's a true homicide. So without those autopsies, without the toxicology reports, how can we conclusively say that there's no connection that way? How do we know that these men were just out drunk, fell in the water, and drowned? Especially when the retired New York police detective points out that the amount of water in their lungs is less than a typical drowning victim. That is, to me, the key. That's the red flag. The amount of water in their lungs. It's not consistent. Does that mean that maybe they were killed elsewhere and then dumped in the lake to cover up the serial killer's tracks? We don't know. And until APD really considers opening this and looking at it as a potential serial killer, there may be more victims on that horizon. I hope there's not. But with the recent finding on just June 27th, this doesn't look like it's going away. That's all I have for you tonight, friends. As always, I want to hear what you have to say. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I want to hear it all. Tell me what you think. And if you have any stories or experiences you would like to share, I want to hear them. You can always send them to me at theparanormalchick@gmail.com. I will post this full episode on my YouTube channel, which is The Paranormal Chick. But until tomorrow, my friends, stay safe.